Today I'm going to show you how to use the transaction entry screen in AgExpert Accounting. The transaction entry screen allows you to record various financial transactions without needing to understand double entry accounting. You can start entering transactions by either clicking the plus button at the top of the page, or by clicking purchases or sales on the left, transactions, and the new transaction button. Remember, orange means action, and it's an easy way to remember where to go to open the transaction entry screen. The interface is divided into two main sections. The top section area captures general transaction details such as date, reference number, and transaction type. The bottom section is where you can input specific line items, including accounts affected, amounts, descriptions, and taxes. AgExpert automatically updates the appropriate ledger accounts based on your entries, streamlining the accounting process. AgExpert supports 5 primary transaction types. Withdrawal transactions represent transactions where the money was withdrawn from a bank account, usually for a purchase or a loan payment. Deposit transactions represent transactions where the money was deposited to a bank account, usually for a sale or a loan addition. Bank transfer transactions represent transactions for money transferred between bank accounts. Payable charges are transactions representing purchases made on credit, for example, invoices due to suppliers that have not been paid yet. And receivable charges are transactions representing sales made on credit, for example, invoices receivable that have not been paid yet. Each type tailors the entry fields to suit the nature of the transaction. Let's explore the transaction entry screen further. Select the orange Action button above. Here you can access all the types of transactions that AgExpert offers. Let's select Withdrawal and go through an example of a typical farm expense. Starting from the top of the screen, pick a supplier. Enter a reference number for your transaction. This is an optional field and can be either a check or invoice number. Select the Calendar button and choose the date of the transaction. Select Choose and select the bank account the money was withdrawn from. You can enter the total withdrawn from the bank account, however, the system will automatically calculate this for you if left blank. Select one of the 18 line types. In most cases, withdrawal entries will be for an asset purchase, a capital asset purchase, a loan payment, an expense, a credit card payment, a payable payment, or a personal drawing line type. Select an account and enter a description. And enter the amount. You can select the drop-down arrow under the tax column to choose one of several tax calculation options. Click Add a new row or hit the Tab button on your keyboard to add a new row. A transaction can have many rows, and any combination of line types may work as long as the total debits match the total credits. Click Save and Next to record the transaction and proceed to a new entry, or click Save and Close to record the entry and return to the previous screen. Now let's take a look at a deposit entry. Select the orange Action button above and select Deposit. Starting from the top of the screen again, pick a customer. Enter a reference number for the transaction. Again, this is an optional field and can be either a check or an invoice number. Select the Calendar button and choose the date of the transaction. Now select the bank account the money was deposited into. And now select one of the 18 line types. In most cases, deposit entries will be for an asset sale, a capital asset sale, a loan addition, income, a receivable payment, or a personal advance line type. Select an account and enter a description, and enter the amount. Next, you can select the drop-down arrow under the tax column to choose one of several tax calculation options. Click Add a new row or hit the Tab button on your keyboard to add a new row. A transaction can have many rows, and any combination of line items will work as long as the total debits match the total credits. Once again, you can click Save and Next to record the transaction and proceed to a new entry, or click Save and Close to record the entry and return to the previous screen. A bank transfer transaction is much simpler. Here you can select Choose under Transfer From to choose where the money came from, and under Transfer To, click Choose to choose where the money went into. Again, select the date, enter a reference number if applicable, enter the amount, and a memo if necessary. Payable and receivable charge transactions are entered in the same fashion as withdrawal and deposits. To enter transactions efficiently, it's always a good practice to organize your checks and invoices by date so that when you're entering your transactions, you can proceed in a chronological fashion. Lastly, you can edit or delete an entry by simply going to Purchases or Sales on the left, Transactions, finding the entry, and clicking on it, making the changes and clicking Save and New or Save and Close, or you can reverse the entry by clicking the Reverse button below. And that's it! As you can see, AgExpert is solid, simple, and built for the farm. If you have any questions, please do not hesitate to contact us at 1-800-667-7893.